Well, I want to welcome all of you to our Latinx Community Outreach conference call. And thank you for being patient. We had a little bit of technical difficulties trying to set up a live, our Facebook Live, and we're trying new features. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Bienvenidos a la junta de hoy. Para las personas que necesitan ayuda con interpretación, tenemos aquí el botón y el canal y la señora Julie Burns nos va a asistir. Así que necesita asistencia en español, oprima el botón ahorita para que pueda escucharlo en español. So welcome all of you to our Latinx outreach call. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Alegría de la Cruz, who's the Chief Deputy County Counsel for Sonoma County, and she will introduce our panel discussion today focused on Sonoma County Secure Communities Collaboration and the recent Supreme Court Daca decision and what that means for us moving forward. So Alegría, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce this item.
Thank you, Oscar. I'm really proud and excited to introduce this panel. The Secure Families Collaborative is an exciting example of what's possible when you have local governments and excellent community organizations come together with philanthropic support, with public money support, to really elevate the high quality service that our vulnerable community members need more than ever during this time. The collaborative was born in kind of late 2016 when we started seeing the increase in hate speech and in threats of kind of hate-driven policies and how that was impacting our immigrant community in Sonoma County. We pulled together excellent people throughout our community who were providing legal services around immigration and really identified a huge need in our community to ensure that there was high-quality, low-cost, complex removal defense services being provided. And that there was a coordinated effort between all of those excellent legal service organizations to come together to provide some wraparound services to really hold this community that was under attack. It was our community's way of saying, aquí no, we are not this community. We are a community that's going to stand up and support and provide service to our neighbors, to our employees, to our employers, and to really move forward together to address the kind of need that was being felt and seen and heard more than ever under this new federal administration's tactics. So we are really excited to have attracted some very experienced, high-level, high-quality, skilled attorneys into Sonoma County, and to really also elevate and increase the capacity of excellent services here locally. So I'm super proud to introduce Professor Bill Ong Hing, who is the director of the University of San Francisco Immigrant Legal Defense Clinic. Jacqueline Brown is the assistant director of that clinic and is also the legal director for the Sonoma County Secure Families Collaborative. We have Margaret Flores McCabe, who is the executive director of Vidas Legal Services, who is the collaborative lead in Sonoma County, and Maureen McSorley, who is an immigration attorney, a longtime partner of the collaborative, and who is providing excellent legal services around DACA. So, adelante, gracias. Here we go.
Did you want me to begin as well? So I'll take it from there. I also wanted to, we've been able to build this fabulous collaborative to serve the community. And in addition to that, this year, we've also integrated some other fabulous nonprofit partners for the wraparound social services component as well. So we have some partners like Catholic Charities, North Bay Organizing Project, Humanidad, the Santa Rosa Junior College, and Catholic, so all of them are assisting us as well. And the statement I just like to make about DACA is it was rescinded by the Supreme Court, but that doesn't mean that the fight is over. And that to just get that message out that we are here to support you. We are committed to, the initial goal was to screen 4,000, we have about 4,000 DACAs in Sonoma County. And we are still committed to working with those DACAs and screening them for potential legal remedies or to assist them in any way that we can. We are here for you. We support you. And we have, like Alegría said, we have a high-powered legal team and we have tremendous support. So we are here to help you with that. If we are also would like to put the message out that we'd like assistance. If you can support us with any, you don't have to be have a legal background to assist us with getting the message out to the DACAs. You can help us with fundraising or volunteering, getting social media messaging out to the DACAs. And you can contact us through our Secure Families website or through VITAS. So the VITAS website, and thank you. And now I'm going to get the floor to the legal directors of the Secure Families.
Okay, I think I'll start. My name is, as Alegria said, is Maureen McSorley, and I'm an attorney with VITAS. I just thought that I would give a short overview of DACA, since DACA has been restored for now, based on the current Supreme Court decision. So I just thought I'd give a bit of an overview of that for everyone. And then we'll get into the current decision and what steps you might want to take to move forward from that point. Okay, so on June 15th, 2012, the Obama administration first announced the DACA program. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, issued a memorandum to the Customs and Border Protection, United States Immigration Services, and ICE, explaining how they would use prosecutorial discretion to individuals who came to the United States as children and had certain criteria. So this memo directed that certain young people who did not present a risk to national security or public safety would be eligible to receive deferred action for 2 years. And this would be subject to renewal, so you could renew it every 2 years. And with that, you would be able to apply for work authorization. The memorandum stated that as a general matter, these individuals lack the intent to violate the law, and thus they would be low priorities for deportation. It went on to say that the country's priority was not to remove productive young people to countries where they may not have lived or even speak the language. So it was under this realm that they made these types of provisions. Now, deferred action, what that is, it is a discretionary decision by the Department of Homeland Security to not pursue enforcement against people for a specific period of time. A person granted deferred action is considered to be lawfully present in the United States during the time that they have this deferred action status, but it does not give the person an existing immigration status. So it's confusing. You are in a deferred action, which means that you are a low priority for deportation, but it does not provide you a path to gain residency or citizenship. So your time in deferred action is considered a period of stay authorized by the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. So it's a time where they're going to allow you to stay here. A person in the status does not accrue unlawful presence. While you're in deferred status, or while you are applying for the deferred status, or while the application for that status is pending. Okay, so you are deemed to be here lawfully during that time. DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, is one of those forms of deferred action. So I was just going to go through briefly the criteria to qualify for DACA, which most of you are aware of, but you need to have come to the United States before your 16th birthday, be physically present in the United States on June 15th, 2012, when this policy was put in place, continuously reside in the United States since June 15th, 2007, be physically present in the United States at the time that you complete and submit the DACA application, You must be out of status, have no status in the United States on June 15th, 2012, again, when the policy was made, and you must be under the age of 31 on June 15th, 2012, when the policy was made. You must currently be in school or have graduated or obtained a certificate of completion from high school, a GED, or be honorably discharged veteran from the Coast Guard or Armed Forces. You must be at least 15 years old to apply for DACA, unless you are in removal proceedings, have a final order of removal, or have a voluntary departure order. In those types of cases, they would consider the application before you are age 15. There are certain things that disqualify you from DACA. If you are convicted of a felony, convicted of a significant misdemeanor, and there are definitions for that, and we can go into that further if you'd like, if anyone needs help on that. If you are convicted of 3 or more misdemeanors, if you pose a threat to national security or public safety, if you are out of the United States for more than a brief and casual visit since June of 2007, or if you've traveled outside of the United States after 2012 while your DACA was pending, or you travel outside of the United States without permission to go outside of the United States. These are some of the things that would disqualify you from DACA. So the DACA is decided, it's discretionary, which means they're going to consider a totality of the evidence. All of the evidence presented would be used to figure out if, in their discretion, they want to grant DACA to you. The standard of proof is a preponderance of the evidence. So all that means that you have to show that it is more likely than not that you meet the criteria that I just went through. They will consider all types of behavior. Even if you were not to have a criminal history, they will consider other things to determine whether in their discretion they want to grant you this DACA status. The benefits to the deferred action are that you would receive a work permit for a 2-year increment, and that can be renewed. The DACA can be renewed every 2 years, and you would reapply for your work permit at that time. In order to gain the work permit, you must show that there is an economic necessity, so that you have an economic need for the work permit. Secondly, to apply for advanced parole. That is permission to leave the United States while you're in this status. In order to get advanced parole, you must show that you are traveling for humanitarian, educational, or employment purposes. Humanitarian reasons might be something like getting medical treatment in the foreign country, attending a funeral for family members, or visiting an ailing relative. Going for vacation is not a valid reason to get advanced parole. And again, I want to caution you, before you leave the United States, even if you are granted permission to leave the United States on advanced parole, you should speak with an attorney prior to leaving. It gets very complicated, especially considering the travel bans that are currently in existence and the COVID-19 issues. And you are not guaranteed re-entry into the United States. Should you be able to re-enter the United States with the advanced parole, you would enter the United States legally, and that could be extremely beneficial in the future for applying for adjustment of status or other types of benefits. But again, I caution you, highly caution you, in using advanced parole at this time. You need to speak with an attorney in depth about the pros and cons of attempting that. In my opinion, you can apply for the advanced parole, but I would caution you not to leave the United States until everything is fully analyzed. There are risks involved in applying for DACA. If you are denied the DACA, you could be placed in removal proceedings. The policy memorandum from the Trump administration of June 28th, 2018 states that they will issue a notice to appear upon issuance of an unfavorable decision on an application, petition, or benefit request, just because of the fact that the foreign national is not lawfully present in the United States. The priorities of this administration are so broad that everyone is at risk, basically. So affirmatively filing for any type of a benefit, and if that benefit were to be denied, there is a risk that you could be placed in removal proceedings. Again, I would advise you to seek counsel from an attorney while doing your DACA case. And the current status of things is, as many of you are aware, in September 5th of 2017, the Trump administration terminated DACA. They were allowing renewal cases based on some cases that were pending throughout the United States. More than 10 cases were filed to challenge this termination. And that leads us to the point where we are at right now. And I'm going to turn it over to Jacqueline Brown to analyze what's going on at this point.
Actually, I think Bill is going to talk about the recent decision, give a quick summary.
Okay, thank you. Jenny, did you want to, are you doing simultaneous translation, or did you want to do translation now? I'm not sure.
There is simultaneous translation happening, Bill.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation. I'll be very quick. And I want to first say congratulations to all of you DACA's recipients and also all of the supporters. We should be celebrating the decision of the Supreme Court. So I want to congratulate you because this is your victory, and we're proud of everything that you've done to get to this point, and we're going to be with you until the very end when you all get your U.S. citizenship. And I know in between that, there's a long road, but we're going to do it. So the decision was a 5-4 decision. 5 of the justices ruled that the Trump administration screwed up when they tried to rescind DACA, as Maureen said, back in September 2017. And as some of you know, there are so-called 4 liberal judges on the Supreme Court. And those of us who want the Supreme Court to do the right thing are always praying that before every important decision, at least one of the 5 not progressive judges will swing over to our side. And that's what happened in this case. The Chief Justice, along with the 4 progressives, Sonia Sotomayor, Breyer, Ginsburg, and Kagan, they all voted that the reason that Trump gave for terminating DACA was too simplistic, that it was brainless. All they said was, oh, Obama couldn't do this. What Obama did was illegal, period. That was the only reason they gave for terminating the decision. And the truth is, even John Roberts felt, don't insult my intelligence, okay? You have to give better reasons than that for terminating DACA. And the big part of the decision that, in my view, that Roberts wrote that was so important was that he said, you, the government, you, Mr. Trump, if you're going to terminate DACA, you have to address all the contributions that DACA recipients have given to the country, that they're getting educated, that they're working hard, that that there's almost 250,000 U.S. citizen children that have parents that are DACA recipients, that there are families and schools and neighborhoods that all rely on these DACA recipients that we're all proud of. And he said, what Roberts wrote is that before you terminate this, you've got to address every one of those points. You've got to tell us that you thought about all that. Now, yes, you might be able to terminate, but because of everything DACA recipients have contributed, you better tell us why you're rejecting those contributions before you come back to us again. And so that's the main thrust of the decision that the 5 justices went along with. I do want to tell you that there's a big part of the decision that I'm disappointed in. And only one justice had the guts to say that not only did they screw up procedurally, but Mr. Trump is a racist. And that one judge was Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She's the only judge out of the 9 judges who said, you know what, there's enough evidence here to demonstrate to me, because at least 80% of DACA recipients are originally from Mexico, and another 15% or so are from Central America. There's enough evidence here to me that we ought to have a trial on whether the reason that Donald Trump terminated this is because he's a racist. But she was the only justice who was willing to go that far, and so I applaud her for that. Let me just close by saying that unfortunately, everyone seemed to agree that if Trump wants to go back to the drawing board and address the important points that were laid out, that he probably can terminate DACA. Nobody knows, everybody knows this, that we cannot predict what a crazy man does. Also, everybody knows that Donald Trump is a crazy man. Therefore, we don't know what he's going to do. So I'm sure there are some people telling him that he should try to terminate DACA again. But I think that because we're in an election, there are some people that tell him, maybe you shouldn't do this because we don't want to lose every Latino voter in the country, and that could hurt you in the election. So we don't know what's going to happen. As Maureen said, the decision vacated the rescission, which means we're back to square one into the summer of 2017 when he announced this. And if you qualify, if you never applied before, you could apply. But let me stop there and I'll turn it over to Jacqueline. Thanks everyone, and congratulations again.
Thanks, Bill. So what does that mean right now? So first, as Margaret stated in the beginning, we had been planning for the negative decision and spent a lot of time actually planning for how we would be able to assist people that have DACA right now, identifying other forms of relief, which is actually something that always should be an ongoing process because of the temporary nature of DACA. Now we have more time, so we're still going forward with doing that. But now we can do it in a more a little bit more relaxed manner. And so, as Margaret stated, there are approximately 4,000 people just in Sonoma County that have DACA. There's more people that would even be eligible to apply for the first time. So that's great news that more people will be able to apply. And those are folks that we're going to be assisting as much as we can. We're working with various groups and community members to identify those people. We're going to be setting up workshop type events, taking into consideration COVID and social distancing. So it adds a little bit a complicated aspect to it, but we're still going to be hoping to meet with people in person because of the need for still confidentiality. And we're starting to set up those dates throughout the summer. And hopefully when we have those dates, we'll be able to get that information out to everybody here. And that's about it for the DACA. It's good news, as Bill said, and we're excited that we have more time to help more people.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. So I think the overarching message here to our community is that, you know, there was a lot of panic. The rescission, you know, the churn in the community around what was happening at the federal government level, those actions were designed to terrorize people, to make them afraid, and to push people back into the shadows. And I'm just really grateful for these amazing people in our community who are here to tell you that that's not what Sonoma County is about, and that we have resources to make sure that people know that the churn it's real, and that we're here to fight that fear and that terror that has been waged in our community. So I'm super grateful for the collaborative. I think we have a couple of questions in the webinar chat that maybe we could answer quickly, or to provide some direction to folks after the call. So it sounds like Omar Medina asks, does having filed for unemployment pose a risk to DACA recipients? And he asked another question, any likelihood of a reintroduction of the DREAM Act? Anybody want to take either of those questions?
Bill, you want to take the DREAM Act question? Is still on? I don't know if Bill's still there. Maureen, what do you think about introduction of the DREAM Act?
I'm not quite sure, but I do think that we need legislation, of course, to permanently fix this problem. DACA is just sort of a Band-Aid. And so the legislature needs to work hard, and we can support in that as a community by making sure they understand that this is a huge priority for us and that legislation needs to happen in order to finally try to resolve this issue and give a stability to these people. Even being in DACA status is just very, very stressful for these people. And every 2 years, they have to come up with the money for filing fees, and they have to reapply. And it is very stressful, and never knowing if it's going to be canceled from one day to the next. It is an executive order, and we need a permanent solution through legislation.
And regarding the first question about unemployment benefits, it should not, because people that are eligible for unemployment benefits, if you have work authorization and you're generally eligible to apply for unemployment, it's not considered a public benefit. That would be anything negative in most applications, actually. And
also on DACA, they do not delve into that. They do not ask about public charge issues. The public charge is another new topic. It probably requires another meeting, but yeah, when you're applying for legal permanent resident status, the public charge issue is raised. And it's much more extensive, the documentation you have to give now. And so, but it doesn't apply to DACA.
There was another question in the web chat. Is it true that new applications are not being allowed? And also, could you take a moment to explain to the community, in what ways can we maintain vigilance around attacks on DACA?
It's not true that we are going to be doing new applications. So people that are eligible for the first time can apply. So that is a definite. Regarding advanced parole, which Maureen was going over, that's the part that's a little bit up in the air just because of the dangers, and that's something that just needs to be fleshed out one-on-one with an attorney to see the likelihood, but also the danger of applying. But yes, initial applications are accepted.
Thank you. And then with regard to kind of continued vigilance around DACA attacks, future DACA attacks, what to expect?
Well, the first thing is we can, as Bill was talking about, what is Trump going to do? And we can all just imagine. I mean, I think it's probably best to imagine the worst and prepare for it, even though we might be surprised. So just keeping track of, he's already advised DHS to go and start giving these reasons, so it's not considered arbitrary and capricious. So we know that at least he has done that. So we can expect there will be further attacks, and that's why we are encouraging people to consult, and hopefully we can help to find other ways that people might be eligible to stay outside of DACA. That's the main reason we're setting up these workshops and consultations, because DACA is not permanent no matter what.
And to make sure to reach us through the Sonoma County Secure Families website, and we can, any questions individuals have, we will be happy to get those to the attorneys and continue to communicate with them and give them, you can see updates about DACA from there. That would be, it's a great resource for those that are in need of information, and it's very it's constantly up, it will be updated, so you'll know exactly what's happening.
We're watching every move, everything he says, everything, so we definitely will be updating.
Great. So I just dropped the website link into the chat there, so SonomaCountySecureFamilies.org. Maureen?
Yes, just to reiterate that as attorneys, we would like to take the opportunity when we're working on perhaps a DACA initial application or a DACA renewal to screen each and every person for other relief, to screen them to see if there's a permanent solution to their immigration situation. And That's really important to do, to be proactive and see if there's anything that people can do to regulate their permanent status.
So a couple of additional questions that I had. Does it cost anything to access your services?
No.
Yay.
Yay!
And yay, no. And what language capacity do you have in the collaborative? What different language?
We have Spanish and English, and then we have access to various indigenous languages, interpreters, and then I'm not sure, Margaret, if you at Vitas have other languages. I know Portuguese also is accessible.
We have the languages you just mentioned, but we also can have access for to translators if necessary. And also, in answer to your question, we are really trying to provide everybody with free services. So please reach out to us and know, again, we are committed to supporting you. We know we have a victory, and congratulations. Again, I didn't even say that because we're already in the zone and we're committed to serving all 4,000 DACAs. And I know it sounds like a lofty task, but we are here for you, and we're going to make sure that we're just on top of it. And we have, like I said, tremendous legal team, but we also are reaching out to other partners who have state funding to assist with, DACA applications. So again, if you go through that website, you can put your contact information in there, and we'll make sure that you get that assistance. And I just wanted to say one more thing, and that was, in addition to the support for DACA, we know there's a lot of stress going around. We have COVID, we have fires, so we also have the wraparound social services. If you need mental health therapy, because this is stressful for everyone, and on top of it, you are dealing with DACA, this vulnerability here and this administration. So we are here for you for that as well. Or if there are financial issues, that's the beauty of this collaborative. We can assist you and guide you to some of these other nonprofits that are assisting with that as well. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to put out there.
I just wanted to say one thing too about the cost, because there are the government filing fees, which are basically $500, and that you can't get a fee waiver for, unlike other applications in immigration. But we've also been starting to discuss ways that we could look for funding to cover those filing fees, which is something that we've kind of all done in various aspects in the past. There's other funds and organizations that sometimes have the ability to cover the filing fee, and that's something that we are working on as well.
Excellent. I think there was one more questions. So somebody AE asked, are you doing free consultations for DACA? The answer is yes. And then the question around kind of filing the forms for free, that is something that the collaborative can assist with. If you're having trouble coming up with the $500 to refile or to file for the first time your DACA, that's another issue that the collaborative can help with. And we have a bunch of wonderful thank yous and celebratory notes down here. So if there aren't any more questions, okay, adelante. Thank you so much, Collab. Thank you, Bill, Jacqueline, Maureen, Margaret. Muchísimas gracias.
Can I throw in one comment?
Yes.
Alegria, I'm sorry.
Yes.
There's just a very technical thing that Maureen alluded to earlier. And I'll just be quick, and it's kind of something for somebody to keep in mind. If you entered, sorry, I've got a granddaughter here. Hey, dear, if you entered the country without inspection, without documents, if you did not enter on a visa, and you never did advance parole, which is what Maureen described of leaving the country and coming back, you should talk to somebody. You should talk to somebody about advance parole. If you entered the country without inspection and you have never had advance parole, please talk to somebody about that issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you all again for this wonderful presentation. And again, Alegria posted the website information for the Secure Families Collaborative. So go on there if you have any questions, or if you need some follow-up responses to some of the questions that we didn't get to.